I'm Gillian. I'm the reference librarian at the West Waco Library, and today I'm here to bring you a book tasting. The theme is April, Wind and Weather, and most of the books follow that theme. So I have an assortment of things, starting with this lovely teen, what's called a light novel from Japan, based on, you may have seen the movie, anime, Weathering with You by Makoto Shinkai. It's the story of a young boy who runs away to Tokyo, and every day it rains and rains and rains until he meets a unique girl that he calls the Sunshine Girl, who can summon sunshine whenever she wants. And it's a story of how they grow together and what happens to them in a world of eternal rain. It's cute, it's a romance. If you haven't done manga or anime before, but you're interested, light novels are a great way to get a taste of what it's like. And this one is super sweet. Let's see, The Weather Machine, on a different subject, is adult nonfiction, A Journey Inside the Forecast by Andrew Bloom. How is a weather forecast created? What technology and what science are needed? What artistic expertise lies in the weather report? Because you know there is quite a bit. This book guides you through how weather is tracked, how we understand it, the science, and more, all behind your evening weather report. It was fascinating. Storm Song by C.L. Polk is a fantasy novel. It's actually the second in a series, but it's very standalone. Dame Grace Hensley returns when she discovers that the world she believed she had saved is still in danger from epic storms of both real and magical energies. And she's forced to deal with both politics and magic as she tracks down the evil that faces her world and determines whether or not she can save it a second time and whether or not she'll still have a romantic life afterwards. It's what I would call new adult fiction, not as in-depth and intense as some adult fantasy, but a great read. I thought the world building was superior in this book. And then I went with a classic, The Secret Garden. This juvenile fiction, this is a new edition with new illustrations, beautiful pencil illustrations. I loved it. This is a classic. And the reason I picked it for Wind and Weather is because of the moors. The place where the house that Mary goes to live in are set out on the English moors, and they become almost a character in the story as you hear the wind wuthering and the rain and the flowers blooming. And if you haven't read it, it's an enchanting story. Share it with any child you know, they'll love it. Poppy in the Wild is the saga of a dog, a rescue beagle. She's taken out to meet someone who might become her forever parent and accidentally escapes during a thunderstorm and is lost in the wilderness. And it takes a rescue effort encompassing many hundreds of people to eventually bring her back to safety. And this is the story of what happens to her, the people she meets, the people her rescuers deal with in the course of hunting for her. It does have a happy ending, so it's a safe read, and it's a wonderful story of true dog love. Strange Harvest, The Hidden Histories of 7 Natural Objects. This one doesn't really fit the wind and weather, but it's such a fascinating book. It talks about 7 different things that you can find in the natural world that are restorable resources that can be used by humans and not damage the world. And it's fascinating to see what we could really do with the world if we took the time and care to do it right. And lastly is Rivers of Power. How a natural force raised kingdoms, destroyed civilizations, and shaped our world. So it talks about the great rivers of the world, the Ganges and the Yellow River and the Nile, and other lesser known rivers and how they affected cultures across the world. The Tigris and Euphrates at the very beginning of civilization, and you know, where we would be if we didn't have rivers affecting civilization throughout history. A really interesting historic read. And that's it for this month.